to talk to you about Mike Mahardy. I've been playing Overwatch for the past couple of months. In the beta, it's coming out in a couple of months' time.
May 3rd.
May 3rd, just around the corner.
Yeah.
A couple of corners, but just around a couple of corners. But we've been playing predominantly on PC. Most of the gameplay we've seen has been PC, but you got to go down to Blizzard and play it on consoles.
Yeah.
So I guess, first of all, what did you play it on, Xbox One or PlayStation 4?
I played PlayStation 4. Dave over in the UK did Xbox One.
Dave Jewett.
Yep.
Nice.
And yeah, I played about 3 or 4 hours on PS4. It feels good. Feels, like you'd expect. The default aiming sensitivity felt a little slow, but I think that was mainly just because I was so used to playing on PC, where you could do a 180-degree turn in like no time flat.
Yeah.
But even so, the game itself is designed to be very fast-paced, so I think a lot of people might be turning their sensitivity up, even if you're not normally accustomed to that. Because like most of the character abilities are kind of tailored for this really, like, in some cases, twitchy gameplay, like Widowmaker. I'm sure the sniper people are like really good on PC with her.
Yeah.
On console, it's going to be a little more, adjusting if people were used to PC. But
have they changed any of the heroes' abilities? Because like Widowmaker is the one that like you play Widowmaker like you play Counter-Strike. Like
sure.
It's straight aim down sights. There's that charge on the sniper rifle, but it's pretty much like
Hanzo almost.
Pinpoint. Yeah, same thing on Hanzo. But like for instance, Winston, the big ape, he's almost like one of the easier characters because his gun essentially like just connects to anyone who's around it. So like that's one that would be simple on consoles. But are they changing any of the like tweaking characters that it seemed like? Or
no, from what they've told me, from what I played, it was very similar, or it was the same thing. From what they've said, they're even gonna they're gonna be updating it simultaneously on all platforms. They said they'd be open to crossplay between Xbox One and PS4 if that actually happens. But they've said this a few times. They're not gonna do PC console because that would just be a bloodbath. Yeah.
They don't want the Dreamcast Quake 3 thing to happen again.
Right.
Where it all goes
I'm waiting for that one publisher to be like, we do not want crossplay between PS4 and Xbox One. What publisher is not going to say that that's what they want?
Yeah,
Of course
exactly.
it's good.
Yeah. We want to.
Right. Just want to interject with that real quick.
Yeah. So
I know.
So how does it? I guess if it's not, it must have felt like it was playing at a slightly different pace, right? Because I guess it's hard to tell because if you play with noobs the first time around, it's always going to be a little bit slower as well. Were you playing against Blizzard folk? Were you playing with other journalists or YouTubers? What was it like?
It was journalists and YouTubers,
okay.
But they all seem pretty experienced. I consider myself decent at shooters, and Overwatch I've been playing a lot on PC, and I was, it was a challenge, but it was there were fun matches for this kind of event. I think everybody there was pretty well versed. There weren't too many times I really noticed major differences. There are certain times when the constraints of the controller, how many buttons there are, kind of felt a little weird as opposed to the keyboard, which you can map really well. Mercy specifically, you can switch from her staff, her healing damage buff staff, to her like automatic pistol.
Yeah.
And on the controller, the default was to press right on the D-pad. So when you're in the middle of a fight and then you want to switch it, you have to stop moving with your left thumb. Or if like I started bringing my right thumb over before I remapped it, just because I could keep moving and not just get shot. But on the keyboard, I just usually map that to Q or something, which is really quick. So I'll definitely, there might be some finagling I might want to do when I map the buttons when the open beta launches. But I know it feels really good. It feels like they took their time with it. They've said they don't want to favor one platform over the other. That's another thing publishers would always say. Yeah. But yeah, like Diablo 3, I think they did a really good job of bringing it to consoles. It wasn't as fully fleshed out as PC. They don't have seasons, but it felt good.
That's cool. I guess this is probably one of the first times they're going to try and do an identical launch for both PC and consoles for Blizzard anyway. And I guess the other side of this, how did it look? How did it play? What was it running in 60 frames a second? Did it look sharp?
Yeah.
The art style sort of lends itself to some sort of degree of scalability, it kind of looks like, right?
It was 60 frames. It looks, I don't notice any visual differences between this and PC. Maybe because I don't think the art style would really, it doesn't seem like an art style that you could really just jack up on PC for a noticeable difference.
I'm sure side by side there's probably like loads of, lighting and, aliasing and bits and bobs that are kind of not as sharp as they would be on PC, but you didn't feel like it was particularly like downgraded.
No. It was just a normal PlayStation 4, not this 4.5. But
we'll get to that later.
Yeah, but no, it looked great. I don't have any complaints coming off of a few hours with it. I think PC might be my preferred platform going forward.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure I'll have a few of those friends that won't be playing on PC, like back home, that I'd like to jump on PS4 or Xbox One with.
One of the questions here, Samba15 saying May 3rd on consoles if you pre-order, a couple of days if you don't. Yeah, there's a couple of different ways they're selling this actually at the moment. There's the Origins edition, and then there's like special editions and whatnot. Some of the pre-order bonuses for different character skins, all that stuff. I wonder if that's actually, if people are interested in that at all, the people who haven't actually had a chance to play it yet, because why would you care about skins if you hadn't actually picked who your favorite characters are. Last question on this: did you find yourself like favoring certain characters over other ones that you wouldn't necessarily on PC?
Yeah.
Like I feel like Widowmaker, Bastion the turret was the one that was OP for a while, where it had the shield, and I feel like people have now gotten so good at Widowmaker that you can just destroy anyone if you've got a good sniper. So I kind of feel like they're going to nerf her anyway. But did you feel like less people were using characters like that?
Sure, yeah. I played Hanzo for one match, and I noticed someone else playing Widowmaker throughout the matches, so they seem comfortable. But it definitely seems like Winston is one of the ones. Mercy. Those are some of the characters that I think, just for the purposes of the event, I gravitated toward, because, again, I was used to those twitchier characters I was used to on PC, and there were some that just felt more naturally suited to the controller.
Right.
But I've been playing shooters on controllers for a while now.
Yeah.
And Counter-Strike and Team Fortress 2 were the ones that I always think about when I'm thinking about PC shooters, and when I ended up playing both of those on consoles later, I got used to them pretty fast. So I'm expecting to adapt to all the characters, but there's definitely something to be said about certain characters working better on console. Like Winston, I think, is one a good example, just because he's so melee leaping focused, and then like you said, his weapon pretty gravitates toward people.
Yeah, sticks to them.
So I noticed that a little bit. Yeah.
Cool. Should be interesting to see. It's out May 24th, worldwide release from the good folks at Blizzard. Let us know if you're going to pick that up yourself, if you're going to pick it up on Xbox One or PlayStation 4, or if you're holding out for the PC version. Let us know in the comments below. Mike, you've played all the games. Peter, we're not going to talk to you at all for the first 20 minutes of this show, probably.
I'm just window dressing, man.
How do you feel about Overwatch?
I'm intrigued by it. I usually don't get into competitive shooters, but I do like the personality of the game. And having played a little bit of it at, I think it was PAX East last year, I enjoyed it. But again, I was going up against people who were seemingly really good, despite it just being an event demo, which kind of curtailed my enjoyment a little bit. So, we'll see. It'll depend if I'm up to snuff when I try to play the game. But I'm curious. I definitely want to give it a shot.
That'll be interesting because it's it was like a month after Gears of War. If you don't get in straight away, then suddenly everyone's figured out everything.
Yeah,
all online shooters.
I got into Titanfall long after the fact, and I was able to adapt to that game pretty well. But I don't know if that's going to be the same case with Overwatch, because it seemed to be far less forgiving than something like Titanfall.
I was playing with Chris earlier today. I love this. I really am enjoying Overwatch quite a lot. More than I've enjoyed an online shooter in quite a while. I feel like, growing up playing Counter-Strike and Quake 3 and Unreal Tournament and all these games, I feel kind of bored by most first-person shooters. Yeah. But there's something about Overwatch. I think it's just a strategic variability that happens. Kind of like the first time you play Team Fortress, and you're like, oh yeah, there's if we couple up these ones, except instead of there being 8 characters, I forget how many in TF2, maybe 9. There's this massive breadth of 16 of them, I think, in Overwatch, or maybe even more actually. Maybe
21.
21 is it? Yeah. It's really interesting, matching them all up.
I'll be curious to see what you think about Doom 3 multiplayer, because I played that and that was really fun. It definitely recalled something like Quake 3.
Yeah. I actually need to play that because I've been super down on it since watching the trailers. It comes across, maybe it's just the marketing, but it comes across like they don't know why Doom was good.
I don't know how I feel about the single player, but multiplayer was definitely good. And I went in there kind of with lukewarm anticipation. I just kept getting back in line and keep playing it. So we'll see how that pans out.
Sweet, looking forward to it.